maximums and minimums. So we're looking at this function right here. We can see that this has a maximum because it goes up until it gets to the 0.24, and then it comes down, and then it keeps going on forever and ever. So because 24 is the only maximum there that we have, we call this point right here, it is called an absolute maximum. But because the graph keeps going down forever and ever and ever and ever, it's never going to stop, we would say this graph has no minimum. Negative infinity is a concept, so you can't say that your minimum is negative infinity. Okay? So then it changes a little bit differently when you've got all these little lumps and bumps and rickety raggities. So each little turn point, so that's basically when you start changing directions, is a potential maximum or minimum. So I can see if I'm traveling on my graph. I'm going to start here, this high point of negative, or sorry, of this high point of, do they have the coordinates in here? Yes, of 938 thousandths. That's a high point for that particular location. That's a relative maximum. And then I travel down my graph, traveling. Then I hit this location here. It is a low point. So that low point is technically a minimum, but it is only a relative minimum because, as you can see, it is going to change directions and it is going to travel up. So 0 is a relative minimum because maximums deal with your y values. So then I'm going to travel. I get to this location, this turning point here. That turning point is a mountaintop. So that mountaintop is located at 202 thousandths. So that makes it a relative maximum because it is a little mountaintop. And then you travel down your roller coaster ride, And here we've got ourselves a little valley. So because it's a valley, it's technically a minimum. It's a minimum, but it's not but because there is no other minimum lower than that point, it is our absolute minimum. So in this case, our absolute minimum is negative 62 hundredths, and we say it's the absolute minimum because out of all the minimums that are there, it's the absolute lowest point. So that's going to kind of translate itself when you're talking a range. That is the absolute minimum. And then traveling up. It's gonna keep going on forever and ever and ever. So, although I had a couple of relative maximums, those weren't the absolute because it absolutely goes to infinity, making it so that there is no absolute maximum. So keep that in mind. You're looking at mountain tops and you're looking at valley lows, okay? Whichever one is the absolute highest is called your absolute. Anything else that's a mountaintop but not quite the highest, that's a relative. Same thing goes for your minimums. Your absolute minimum is the one that is absolutely the lowest. Any other valleys are just called relative minimums.